Here are 5 of your favorite friends, Barbie, Midge, Skipper, Alan, and Ken. But if you think they're the same as they've always been, you'd better take another look. Better check them again.
Hi, I'm Trixie Mattel. Today we're at home in my living room, and I'm going to share with you some of my favorite toys from my doll collection. At first, it was sort of an accident because I would go on tour and people would start gifting them to me. And then I would start getting good ones, and then I would start kind of like looking up the ones I was being given. Anything collection-wise, it's a rabbit hole, and like it can get really crazy really fast. Like last year I was on tour for Skinny Legend in the UK. I think I bought 100 dolls while I was on tour, which is a lot, but at least you guys know that I'm taking your money and putting it to good use. I collect mostly Barbie, but I have a lot of different stuff. I love dolls from like 65 to 73. I love mod. Like Austin Powers through Hippie, that's kind of my sweet spot. Those are usually the clothes and the hairdos and the facial sculpts and the makeups on the dolls that I just like. I have to have it.
Have you heard what's happened? Barbie's changed. Barbie's new and different.
Okay, so this is probably the one that like started. I was kind of doing some look like inspiration, and I found her. This is a live action PJ. This actually isn't Barbie, this is PJ. So first they made Barbie, and then Ken, and then Midge, and then Alan, Midge's boyfriend, and then her kind of like family tree and friend tree started to populate very quickly. And PJ was one of her friends who was like fun and quirky, but everybody was second banana to Barbie. But I just loved this dress. I was like, oh, this is really something I would totally wear. And so this was kind of like my first time self-indulging buying a toy, like a vintage toy for myself. And then I obviously got very dark very quickly. This isn't a Barbie either. This is a Francie. This is a Francie, and Francie was basically Barbie's mod cousin from London. So right when like the mod London like thing happened, suddenly all these dolls were refashioned. So you can tell compared to a Barbie, Francie has less hips, less boobs. She has more like a pencil body because the look was like Twiggy. You know what I mean? Twiggy made everyone be like, never mind, I don't have boobs. It was just like, cover everything. This is a 1965 Bloom Zoom, and I love this look. It inspired some of the looks for, like I just wore a look like this to the Wowie Awards last night. I love head to toe, bold, stretch fabric. It's psycho, and what's great about it is, I love it for drag because it's not a costume, but it's a little too far for what a real human would wear. And I've always loved this look. I think she looks so great. I don't just love like, you know, mod, I also love Hippie Dippy. And this is live action Barbie. And live action Barbie came to be known as like Hippie Barbie. So this is from 1971, I believe. And Barbie at this time was great. She had real eyelashes, big blue eyes. They made a live action Ken, Christy, PJ, and Barbie, and they were supposed to basically be in a band together. And I just think she is everything. These little leather tassels, this little belt, this headband, and the reason she was called live action is because her range of movement is pretty amazing. Like, her waist can do this. Barbie, I don't think previously could do that, like move from side to side. This doll also came with a little stage, so you could put the dolls on the stage and it would spin and they would like, not dance, but, you know, if you're a kid, ooh, they're moving, you know. Also, she could do something other Barbies couldn't do. The live-action dolls have wrists that move.
Wow.
So, like, one of the ads at the time was, like, Barbie sitting like this, and there was a little bird on her hand, and it said, like, Barbie's alive. So, it doesn't seem like a big deal, but because she was a hippie, this doll really represents, like, hippie influence in, like, the fashion world. And she's cute, but there is somebody cuter. Because this was Barbie, they made a million of her, and right around this time is when Barbie was starting to get more diverse. This is live action Christy. You can tell that these came from like the same world, the same kind of like, they were supposed to be in a band together, but I think she is just incredible. This is probably one of the more expensive dolls that I own because at this time in American history, they were making a lot of blonde, blue-eyed Caucasian dolls. They were not making as high of quantities of like dolls with melanin. You can tell this is the same face. This is the same sculpt. They just put brown plastic in it. So not quite good enough by today's standards, but at the time this like was a huge step in making dolls for everybody. And frankly, the great thing nowadays is if you have these like melanin dolls from this era, they're actually worth more because there's less of them. Like live action Christy is actually worth more than live action Barbie now, so Speaking of iffy past, there is one of my favorite type of dolls to collect is anything that's sort of like what do we like maybe a moment in time that we don't love to remember for doll world, and this doll definitely represents that. This is Grown Up Skipper. This is famously the puberty doll. So this was invented because Mattel was, they had the idea of trying to demystify puberty by giving little girls a doll that could go through puberty right before their eyes. So the great thing about this doll is when you twist her arm, her torso lengthens and her boobs grow in. Isn't that shocking? And her torso lengthened and she grew, maybe not convincing boobs, but like some boobs. It ended up being kind of gross, and for me, one of my favorite parts of my collection. I love this doll. And the outfit's not bad. She's really giving me Jan Brady. This is Fashion Queen 1962. This is one of my favorite Barbies. I know what you're thinking. One of your favorite Barbies is a doll with no hair. When they invented Barbie, they were surprised that children love the hair so much. So they were like, how do we like maximize this? And this was the early 60s, so this is maybe when people were wearing wigs. Fashion Queen Barbie came with this really chic outfit. I mean, I think this is like timeless. It's sort of based on and inspired by Elizabeth Taylor in that Cleopatra movie. That's kind of what it gives. And I love this head wrap. And Barbie came with a really cute sculpted hairdo. So she's not fully bald. She does have this little like dressing room outfit. But this toy also, I mean, this is like the heyday of toys. Look at this real zipper. When I was a kid, we just had Velcro. Like, this is a real working zipper. I mean, the craftsmanship on some of these old dolls is crazy. Like, you can't even... This is nicer than clothes from, like, H&M. This is, like, better made. Do you know what I mean? And this is for a fake person. And also, around this time, they were still doing, like, early Barbie was very heavy. This is, like, pre-war plastic. I mean, this is, like, American-made. If you were a kid and threw this at someone, you could kill someone. Like, this is so heavy. But this early sculpt too, her head's like the shape of a light bulb. I mean, she just is so cunty. I mean, who wouldn't want to look like this? And this is before Barbie was facing forward. So this is when Barbie was more like, they were trying to portray women as more demure and like, oh, I would never like look at someone because I'm a woman. I don't have my own thoughts. Like, it was kind of pre-women's liberation. So she's a little more coy, but she came with wigs. And so, like, for a drag queen, how can I not love this Barbie? So you could be like, I'll be there in a minute. This one's kind of from the same era. This is Color Magic Barbie. This is probably maybe like top 3 of my favorites that I own. Color Magic Barbie was legendary because Color Magic Barbie came with a solution that came on a little like sponge tip applicator. You could mix up the solution and apply the solution to her hair or outfit, and it would change colors. So I think this one, I forget what the name is, this lemon color, if you applied the solution to her hair, it would turn like a bright scarlet. Isn't that crazy? So like, this was right around a time where they were like, we have this hit toy, how can we elevate it? How can we really like do more and more? The makeup, yellow hair, blue eyeshadow, and bright pink cheeks, you fucking whore. This is not a Barbie. This is a Busy Talking Steffi. Busy Talking Steffi was so gorgeous because the mold for Steffi is actually one of the newer molds for PJ. Steffi, if you look at her face, she has 2 little bottom lashes on the bottom and she has lips like... So she kind of has a pouty, almost like sexy. Like, I love Barbie. I think this sculpt is superior to Barbie. I think this is accidentally prettier than Barbie. They called her Busy because this is one of the first times the doll could close her hand. So like, you can see her hand there, and when you turn the wrist, it closes. So you could put things in her hand, like a lunchbox, whatever. She'll actually hold it and carry it around, which is pretty cool. And this one talks. She says some great stuff.
I dig having my own TV.
I dig having my own TV. And I mean, as far as fashions go, this pink gingham, this whole look just really speaks to me. I love her. She's one of the more expensive ones too because again, around this time, they made a lot of Barbies and less of Barbie's friends. So Barbie's friends are actually more expensive now and harder to find. I don't know about this hat though, you know. This is a talking Ken.
Have you met Barbie's new friend?
This like John F. Kennedy voice that they put in there. Have you met Barbie's new friend?
Have you met Barbie's new friend? Have you met Barbie's new friend?
Sometimes they get stuck on the same phrase.
Have you met Barbie's new friend? Barbie's a great dancer.
Barbie's a great dancer. I love this. I mean, this JFK voice they put in this Ken, I mean, I love that. I think people used to actually talk like that, though.
What's new under the sun? Malibu Barbie.
She's Mattel's super new suntanned Barbie.
Hey, Barbie's got a golden tan now.
This is one of my favorite dolls. Again, this is like one probably every collector has like 3 of. I have one and I have one in the box. This is Malibu Barbie 1971. This is when like beach and extreme tanning stuff started to happen. So look at the jump from like a 60s doll to her. The plastic totally changed color, and the look was very less makeup, long real hair. Think like Maureen McCormick, Marcia Brady. Everybody wanted to have long hair and tan skin and big long lashes, and like that's it. This was the first time Barbie looked straightforward. So this represented women moving forward to having like, hopefully, you know, hopefully by 2020, complete equal treatment to men. But this is for the first time Barbie was like, no, I'm this. She was like, no, I'm looking forward because I'm a woman who knows what she wants, and it's okay for me to look in your eyes. So this is like a huge moment for women, this doll. It's funny that it's a moment for women, and she's still like in a swimsuit, sexy, but you know, looking forward is a big step. This is Superstar Barbie 1977. So after the like beachy, earthy doll, disco happened, and glamour came back like in abundance. So they were like, the new Barbie is gonna have golden, beautiful hair, a boa, and a gown, and so much makeup on. I mean, her face is bright orange. I mean, and oh, she's missing her shoes, but she was in this great pomp. I hope I didn't lose them. I hope they're not in the vacuum. This represents Barbie coming back to full glamour because you can see this doll, like, doesn't this look more like the 90s doll that we grew up with? They completely changed the face. You know, like, it's a different shape, it's a different color, everything. So this basically went on to be the doll that we grew up with. Like the 90s Barbie that I remember, her face looks a lot like this. One of the greatest things about dolls is they basically are snapshots of American culture, history, and fashion. So they couldn't sell a toy without it reflecting what people looked like. And so any of these, it's great because it's like a time capsule of American fashion history.
Superstar Barbie doll comes with necklace, earrings, ring, shoes, and gown from Mattel.